So it's a lovely day here at Punta de Mita. The sun's shining, the sky is blue, the wind generator is putting in quite a bit of power with the wind getting up now with the thermal afternoon wind. And I've even managed my mobile, I'll call it my mobile solar panel, because I'm at anchor. I've got that out in the full sun, helping the solar panels up here on what would otherwise be the bimini, taking the boom over to one side to keep them unshaded. And we're bobbing about at anchor here. Very little else to be seen here. Normally I anchor right over on the other side of this bay, but because I came in with difficulty sailing, tackling against the wind while the wind was dying just before dark, I just was happy to drop the anchor wherever seemed safe to do so. The other night on, what would that be, Monday? Yeah, Monday. Feels like weeks ago, but it was just 2 days ago. So anyway, so lovely day, and I have decided to cook some ratatouille and make a nice dessert. My ratatouille in the about to become ratatouille. This is the ingredients, obviously. I do have some peppers, onion, courgette, tomatoes, aubergine, very nice. And my dessert is going to be berries with some seeds and some yogurt. So I think we'll get going on that. In the meantime, today I put back the impeller into the old seawater pump, and we're tracing around trying to find where to get another pump from. It has to come from the United States, not from Mexico, it seems. Anyway, so more on that later. That is definitely looking very good. Looking forward to that. First I have to cook the ratatouille though. I didn't mention that my fridge has decided not to work properly, so it's struggling to keep the temperature down. So I'm looking to see what I have to eat up before it all goes off. Hopefully it'll keep the temperature down enough that it lasts a reasonable amount of time. Well, the sun set a good time ago. The wind generator, of course, is still busily going around. The super wind is a really good wind generator, and I'm still at the far end of the bay, well away from anyone else that could possibly be over in the distance there, which is normally where I would be anchoring, to be honest, but of course I had no choice. The sky has got very grey around sunset. I did get quite a nice photo of the sun setting with the grey cloud making quite a dramatic sunset. And here is the sun setting a short while ago. I grabbed my camera, it was pretty dramatic. But for the moment, a lot of grey cloud, quite surprising, up in the west. Not so much, I think it has spread over the bay now. So I've just had my food, I've just had my ratatouille, which was very pleasant, with some wild Alaskan salmon, which again, I'm a bit worried because my fridge seems to be not managing to keep the freezer section frozen. So I thought I'd better start eating up some of the stuff that I've got there. I've been spending a lot of time today trying to get hold of people with possible water pump sourcing. You know, people tend not to have one in stock, and so it's a question of whether they can get one from the Yanmar main dealer, wherever that person might be, and there aren't that many, certainly none in Mexico. So we're really looking at the States for getting a pump sent down from there. And the fact that I want the gear already attached, otherwise I'm going to have problems changing it, is another problem that adds a complication. So it's been, I feel almost as though it's been a waste of it. Well, it has been effectively a waste of the day because I've got nowhere. I still don't have a pump ordered. I should have had one ordered by end of day today from San Diego, but I was put quite close to the end of the day, not on the end of the day, but quite close to it, and clearly they weren't answering their phone, because the message was, well, if you get to us today, we can order it and get it in by 1:30 tomorrow, which sounded great, except they weren't answering the phone. So that wasn't helpful. So I've still actually not got a pump on order, or the pump with the gear. So that's causing the complication. I think it's easier to get the pump without the gear, but I need it with the gear on it if I'm going to do the changeover. So fairly rolly anchorage, this one. You can probably see that we're moving about quite a bit. That calms down usually. It gets up with the wind, of course, in the afternoon. The thermal wind got again quite strong as usual, and then overnight the rolling around dies down. So by morning, having had pretty well no wind overnight, we're pretty calm actually. We're in 20-foot depth of water. We're clearly very well dug in now. The anchor, that is well dug in, because we're mostly moving around in an arc of a circle, a small arc of a circle, depending on the wind direction, which is mostly northwest to north. So what else to report? Oh yes, I tried to disentangle my main halyard, and that's giving me a slight problem. I'm going to have to go up the mast a little bit to get to where that was. I already had to go up the mast a little bit to get to sort out a problem with my spinnaker halyard, because I was trying to use that to bring in the asymmetric that went slightly overboard. It's hanging on to the lifelines, and it's such a heavy thing, and I think it got really wet, so it's so heavy. I tried to use the spinnaker halyard to bring it inboard, but failed. So the spinnaker, it's still in its bag, but the bag is tearing, and so that's causing me a problem. I'll have another go at that tomorrow. I'm thinking I might have to move back up, with the wind helping me, in fact, to go back up northish with a northwest wind or so. Well, it's actually northeast that I'd be going, so that would work. Maybe going back to the La Cruz anchorage, which would put me nearer to people, a lot of whom have come up with messages of support and, you know, can we do anything to help? But being down here at Punta de Mita, which is quite a few miles away, it's more difficult for them to do that. So if that pump is ordered and is on its way at some point, it might be better for me to go up there, where I'm closer to a good mechanic anyway, if I should need one, and also to these other people that can help me with one or two other things. And of course my fridge having difficulties. I'm not sure if there is a fridge person around. I have the feeling that he might have gone off for a 6-week holiday, but if there is one, it would be nice to get my fridge working, not to lose all the food I put in there, in the freezer section in particular. So a few things that have been going on, but not much. Oh, I did put the impeller back in the engine, a new impeller. So it wasn't the same one put back. It was a new impeller put into the pump that's there, so that I have the option of an emergency use of the engine for maybe up to 5 minutes, perhaps, before it overheats. Anyway, but I will try the engine in the morning, I think, now, and see what happens. Okay, I think that's probably about it. Getting dark, and I'm going to go down and have my dessert, my berries and yogurt, and some chocolate. Okay, good night everyone.